Being a dancer and loving dance and loving performing and being in your creative vibe, that is the easy part. The hard part of being a professional dancer is all the other things that come along with the job title. It is wearing all of the hats of being the manager, the talent, the admin, the bookkeeper, the coach, right? Of you managing yourself.
Well, I manage my department, and I've been doing that for several years now. And God, I've learned a lot of life lessons along the way.
Your department's just you, right?
Yes, Jim, but I am not easy to manage.
Those are the hard things that I find that most dancers really hate and really suck at. And I used to suck at that too. And I really want to share how I have come to be able to juggle so many things. I'm a business owner, I am a dance teacher and yoga teacher, and I'm also a freelance performer that travels. I have a lot of hats going. I have a lot of things that I do to make money and a lot of things that bring me a ton of joy. But the thing that I've always struggled with, especially as a Pisces, oh my God, is the foundational, structural admin tasks that for a long time really overwhelmed me. And I know if you are a creative being, if you are a dancer, a performer, you would probably rather be just in your creative vibe. You're like, I would rather just be in the studio, dancing, creating, performing. Oh, I hate all of the things that actually have to happen for me to be in this capitalist society, right? I feel like most dancers are just that is their Achilles heel. So I'm gonna take you a little behind the scenes of how I handle all the boring, tedious tasks that keep my life flowing, that keep me paid, booked and busy and grounded and not overwhelmed with all of the million things that I have going on. So first I want to share my perspective on my task list and how I shifted from a task list that felt really overwhelming, really heavy and tedious and boring to my blessed to-do list. I am blessed to be able to do these things to support the life and the business and the jobs and work opportunities that I have. And a really big shift for me was starting to see the inherent magic within all of the things that I have to do and stop separating in my mind the fun things, which for me and for most artists is the performing, the creating, being in class, coming up with all the fun things that you want to do or teach or perform, right? And seeing all the admin stuff is so draining, so overwhelming, so boring, not what I want to do. What I invite you to look at is seeing these things as two energies that are very important to having a balanced life, and seeing the admin tasks as your Shiva tasks. So we have Shiva and Shakti, which is the masculine and feminine universal energies that co-create a unity of cosmic consciousness, and they're both equally important. And all of your tasks that feel like the mundane, structural, foundational, admin, keeping the ship running tasks, those are your Shiva tasks. In yoga, we see Shiva and Shakti as two sides of the same coin, two energies that support each other. One wouldn't exist without the other. And I really love the way that they are shown, where Shiva is the more still, grounded, centered, kind of the anchor, the stabilization, the structure, if you will, while Shakti is the free-flowing, more energized, creative, expansive energy. In your life, you want to support the flow of Shakti by creating solid structure and containers in your life for Shakti to feel supported. If you just have Shakti energy, you may feel very all over the place. That energy that's just so expansive and creative and movement oriented can kind of leave you feeling ungrounded and a little spaced out. So if you're someone that feels like you have a lot of ideas and a lot of things you want to do, but don't end up moving in one solid direction, or if you feel really scattered with your finances and your correspondence and the more managerial tasks that really actually are super necessary, if those feel super scattered, you may be operating a little bit more in an unbalanced Shakti and need the Shiva structures in your life to create the flow through which Shakti can be really efficient and really powerful. Shakti is like water, and to have it, carve beautiful, powerful, intentional things in your life, you need strong riverbanks. You need Shiva structures in your life. Like the trunk of a tree is another way you can think about it, where like Shiva is like that tree trunk that is creating the structure that's like that strong foundation. If you don't have the foundation of like being good at correspondence, managing your schedule, managing your finances, managing like your energy and just like the daily tasks of like remembering to get groceries or like, things that feel really like not fun, but like are super, super necessary, when those aren't in place, Shakti doesn't have a support system. The branches, the leaves, the flowers, the fruit of the tree cannot bloom and thrive and be in that abundant, expansive place if the tree, the trunk, and the roots are not foundational there. As much as I would love to just like frolic in nature or just be on my yoga mat, just like having creative downloads and like creating all kinds of like ideas and concepts and pieces and classes, if I don't have a strong pathway and direction of like what I'm gonna do with all of my energy and my ideas and my intuition and knowledge, like what am I gonna do with that? How am I gonna create things that can reach the people who need them? How am I gonna get paid and make sure that I can be supported? How am I going to manage my energy, right, if I don't have these structures in my life? So when I started to shift into seeing all of my admin things as my Shiva structures in my life, it felt a lot better to do them and to pour into these places, knowing that they were going to help the expansion of my Shakti, help me reach more people, help me get out into different stages and spaces and have more opportunity to be creative, right? These are like the really important parts of your professional career that if you don't have, you might just be stuck with all of these desires and all of these ideas and like creativity that doesn't have a pathway to flow. And if you don't have strong structures in your life, strong boundaries about how you manage your energy, your correspondence, your schedules, your money, you might just feel so like scattered and overwhelmed that you really aren't even efficient and don't even have the capacity to show up in your highest Shakti energy. So this is what I want to orient you to, thinking about your task as either your Shiva or Shakti energy and having a balance of both. Like, yes, absolutely having Shakti practices in your life where you're tuning inwards, getting into your emotional, creative, like somatic, like feminine practices are so important. And having your Shiva energy structures, your frameworks, your roots, your foundational things in your life that you're pouring into. And some of those too aren't just like mundane tasks, but also having like stillness in your life, time for reflection, time for meditation so that you're mentally clear and focused. Like kind of in this depiction of Shiva and Shakti, Shiva is shown meditating. He is centered. There's like a structure, there's a stillness, there's a holding to his energy, while Shakti on the other hand is like that dance with life, right? So it's like you need the standing leg and then the free leg, right? If you want to think about it that way. So that's how I see all the tasks in my life, and don't feel so like, mundane tasks, more, okay, time to pour into my Shiva so that I can support my Shakti. So here's kind of the three main areas that are supported or are Shiva based and very supportive of my Shakti energy. Schedule hygiene, financial hygiene, and correspondence hygiene. These three main pillars, like communication, scheduling, money structures that help support my Shakti. So what this really looks like for me in my day-to-day life is like once a week, I will sit down and have myself a little admin day. And I'll make it a fun time, not just like, fuck, I have to do these tasks. Like I will make it an enjoyable experience for myself. I'll take myself out and be like, time to get grounded, time to get rooted, centered in my Shiva energy so that my Shakti can be even more supported and amplified. Okay, so first thing is schedule hygiene. If you do not have a planner or a calendar or something where you keep track of all your stuff, girl, you better get on that. It's 2024, you better get yourself. I personally use my Google Calendar and put all of my events, classes that I'm teaching, privates, but I also put things that I want to do for myself, and I treat the appointments that I make for myself just as important as my appointments to other people. So that is also scheduling out, when am I gonna go to the gym? When do I have scheduled time to connect with my partner? That is literally on my calendar of a weekly day or a weekly night where we have like our couples connection hour. And obviously we connect a lot more throughout the week, not just on this one night, but because we both have really crazy schedules, it's been really helpful to have this like foundational, non-negotiable like appointment that is in our calendars that like I treat with the same amount of respect as I would with like a private that I have with someone. Schedule in the times for you to connect with your Shakti. Schedule in, when am I going to yoga? When am I going to sit in my room and like listen to music and dance around and like journal and be in my free flow time? When am I gonna go get time in nature this week? If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. And it's really important to manage your energy and know what you're doing throughout the week. The first thing I'll do is look through messages, emails, make sure that there is nothing that I have forgotten to put on my calendar, remembering all of the privates that I may have booked or classes that I'm teaching or whatever it is. Like I update my calendar once a week. And I look at it and like what's coming up on the week ahead so that I can better like plan how I'm gonna manage my energy and time. So like if on Monday I'm teaching a couple privates and doing a couple dance classes, you know, I'm not gonna also then schedule like a gym session, right? I'm gonna be like, okay, maybe I'll wait till the next day. Vice versa, I'll look at the days when I have time open. I'll be like, am I gonna be like shooting a class then? Am I gonna be choreographing something? Like what events do I have coming up in the future too that I may need to choreograph for or work on? Like I'll really kind of look at like, what can I realistically do? Like I've learned to understand like my own energy limits and like how much I can actually do in a day. But usually I'll have like one day a week that I don't schedule any kind of movement stuff. That's more like my rest day. And then a couple times a week I'll have gym days. A few times a week I'm going to classes, and I have a few days a week where I'm teaching classes too. So between all of that, I'm scheduling in, when am I gonna get groceries? Because if I don't have groceries, I'm personally really bad at like remembering to eat. Like if my husband isn't making me food, I will just sometimes not eat and just be like, I'm gonna just go have coffee and like get to work. And like, you know, it's been really, really important for me to like start to prioritize like making time to go grocery shopping and to like meal plan and make stuff. So like actually scheduling that in, right? And not just saying like, oh, I'll like figure out some time to do that. Like I will sit down and be like, okay, that's my non-negotiable like time that I'm doing that. In the mornings, I don't schedule anything before a certain time so that I have time to do my morning like meditation, my morning practice. And I just really encourage you guys to look at your schedule and really plan out how you're going to be showing up that week and treat your appointments to yourself just as importantly as you would treat your appointments to other people. So if you're someone that feels really overwhelmed with like, how do I even just handle the correspondence that I'm getting? Like, you know, because your network and your communication skills and your correspondence, like that is most of the time going to be the main way that you make your money as a freelance dancer. I know for me it is, and being on top of my correspondence, holding conversations and having those connections with people is so important, but goddamn can it get overwhelming. I know how it is when you have people emailing you, Instagramming you, texting you, someone's trying to book a private, someone's trying to hire you for a show. You need to get this thing in your schedule worked out. Oh, you're waiting to get paid from this person. Trying to book out your schedule and your teaching stuff like weeks and months in advance. Oh my gosh. You can just feel like so much. And then on top of that too, if you have like clients that you're taking care of, like for me, when in my coaching business, a lot of times there's a lot of messaging support and coaching and mindset work and stuff that I'm doing. So it's really been super important for me to like have boundaries around how I handle correspondence. The thing is, our brain is not meant to be switching directions of your attention and your awareness. We are wired to really need about 10 to 15 minutes to fully like drop into a task. So if you are like trying to do something and then you're trying to also respond to messages, or you're letting yourself get distracted by all the pings, notifications, things coming in. When you do that, you are just decreasing your efficiency. Your brain is not meant to be like, okay, let me sit down and like write out a class plan, right? If that's your task, and then like, oh, ping, ping, like people are messaging me. Oh, let me just respond really quick. No, you're actually gonna decrease your productivity because it takes your brain time and energy to reorient to, okay, now I'm texting this person, I'm thinking about blah, 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 whatever's going on here. It's gonna take your brain more energy to then drop back into the task that you were on. And this is why people end up feeling like really drained mentally throughout their days, because they're switching between tasks so quickly. Like your brain is not meant to be able to switch between a million things. So like you need to set boundaries of either like turn your notifications off and mentally tell yourself, I don't need to respond to this right now, okay? And if you do read it, mark it back to unread, you know? For me, when I first started out with my business, I was so overwhelmed and like my brain was hooked on that dopamine high of like, ooh, a new message, ooh, a new email, ooh, ooh, ooh. Like it can be very easy to get distracted by your messages and like wanna respond to people right away, or feel like you have to respond right away. Like you're really stressed about like giving people a timely response and like like being on your phone or like responding super quick. For me, what I've found that has become like a staple like in my life is setting boundaries around when I respond back to people and actually do my correspondence in like big chunks instead of here and there sporadically as messages are coming in throughout the day. If someone messages me, it's rare that I respond right away. I usually track it, lock it, and like, okay, I'm gonna get back to that when I do my correspondence time, where I'm just gonna go in and like, go through everything all at once and let my brain be in that single oriented task of correspondence rather than corresponding with people all throughout the day, all throughout the week. So what I'll do for this is use the Pomodoro technique, which is 25 minutes of focused work. You put a timer on and you do the task. It's 25 minutes. It's very easy to lock in and be like, okay, I can focus on one thing for 25 minutes. And when you give yourself those time restraints, you actually work a lot more efficiently because there's a boundary. Like I have 25 minutes, easy, piece of cake, rather than at some point today, I have to respond to all of these messages. Then it can take all day, right? Like things only take as long as you let them. So you do 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, where you go, you stretch, you shake some booty, you shake it off, you drink some water, you grab a snack, you go look outside or go outside, and then you get back at it. So I'll structure this in my admin day as emails first. Okay, let me go into my emails, make sure that everything has been read, everything has been taken care of, and kind of clean up my inbox. Then take a 5-minute break. Then I'll go into my text messages and be like, all right, time to go on my world tour of texting responses. And then my big one is usually Instagram, which is like Big Papa, gonna take all of my brain energy. So sometimes I'll do this in multiple chunks too. Like I'll do one 25-minute chunk, then take a break, and then do like another 25-minute chunk later where I'm responding to people, sending people classes, sending people payment links, building connections with people, like whatever. And I just do it all in that one chunk. And then I know throughout the week, like, okay, I don't need to respond to this immediately. If you're someone that gets stressed out by messages and you feel like I need to respond, or like I don't want to forget to respond, just know that you're gonna like have your weekly like responding days. Or for correspondence, usually there's like 2 days a week where I go in and do these big chunks of messaging. Obviously there's stuff that's gonna be a bit more like immediate that needs to happen, but for the most part, you can have 2 to 3 business days to respond to people. So next one is your money frameworks. And I know money can be hard for artists. It can be something where I feel like unless we do a lot of inner work with ourselves, we're kind of preconditioned to be in that starving artist mentality, and typically don't take a lot of care of our finances and the structures that we have to be really mindful and really caring and nurturing to our flow of money. And the truth is, money is Shakti, it is Lakshmi, it is connected with the more feminine energy flow of abundance, of life force. And so a really big shift for me came when I started to see my money as a feminine entity. And so I wanted to think about how can I treat the feminine energy of money really nurturingly and create Shiva masculine structures that she feels supported, held, and nurtured, and can flow without being constrained, hoarded. Like, you want to think about your money as free energy, free flow energy that is moving through you. Just like a woman, she does not want to be controlled. She does not want to be grasped and clung to and hoarded. She wants to be like welcomed in and also feel free and safe to flow. So for me, one thing was being very intentional about how I pay myself. And this could be a whole other video, but I highly recommend, if you are a self-employed artist or teacher, that you make yourself an LLC and actually register as an S Corp so that you pay yourself as an employee of your company rather than get taxed as a self-employed artist. You'll save a lot of money there. So much more helpful when it comes to tax season too, because if you run a payroll, they will usually take care of all the tax stuff for you. You basically will pay yourself as an employee and give yourself a W-2. Most of my money is coming in through Stripe, which goes directly into my business bank account. And then I don't take any money out of that business bank account until I run my monthly payroll, through which I pay myself into my checking account. It's been really helpful to like know where my money is coming from and have like a really clear idea of like, what money do I actually have? Because as freelancers, it can be really hard when you just have like random Venmos coming in or like random payments and you're not sure like how much money do I actually have and what of that is going into like paying my credit cards? What am I saving? What am I paying with just rent and daily life stuff with? And then I also recommend weekly, as part of your weekly admin day, having a like cleaning the financial grill day, where make yourself a financial tracker where you put in everything that you spent relating towards your business so that you can write that off for taxes later and keep track of it as you go through your week, so that when it comes time for tax season, you are not just like, trying to like go back through all your records. Like, make it easy for yourself. I have a whole financial tracker Google Doc where I put in like everything that I have spent on dance education, all my dance classes, or like anything that I have bought, like shoes, costumes, clothes, grip, like whatever, anything that I've spent on travel for dancing and teaching. There's a lot that you can write off. I even write off like every time I go to a coffee shop, right? So like there's a lot of things that I am like writing off as a business expense. Like, I need to keep track of that once a week so that I'm really on top of making sure I don't miss anything. Because anything that you miss is just lost money, honestly. Do that on the regular so that you are prepared when it comes to tax season. You already have all of that written down. You've got your payroll running. And then I love using apps like Opportune, where you can basically set savings goals and it will draw little bits out of your bank account for you and automatically put things into savings accounts or put them into investment accounts, whatever you want. But that's a great app to make sure that, you're getting little bits that you can also save for yourself for a rainy day or for your investments. Just know where your money is and feel really confident in the flow of your financial structures will bring a lot less stress. I find that when we are less stressed about our money, we feel more easeful around it. There's not that energy of like gripping and stressing and feeling like, do I have enough? I don't have enough. And it's easier to be in a more abundant mindset, which Shakti, Lakshmi energy is gonna resonate a lot more with than feeling just like really stressed and clinging, just like hoping you get by on what you're making. But we can make a whole other video of like how to make money as a freelancer, money mindsets, like reconditioning yourself to be in a place of more abundance. I won't get into that right now, but I do have a great class on my YouTube channel that's called Abundance for Artists, and it is a Lakshmi goddess class that will help you tune into that frequency of feeling more deserving. Like the first step of having more wealth is knowing that you're worthy of it, is valuing yourself. If you want to be valued in terms of money from other people, you gotta start by valuing yourself and like exuding that value, right? So if you want to start to play with money magic and Lakshmi consciousness, I have that great class on my channel that I highly recommend. But just know that being more financially strategic about where your money is flowing is worth the effort and will bring a lot of ease and clarity around what money you actually have available to you and where your money is flowing and how much you're making and your taxes and everything. So that's a really big Shiva structure, is like creating the containers for money, your Shakti, to flow a bit more smoothly and to feel less stressed energy surrounding that. So that's a really big thing that is a part of my weekly admin tasks. Just try this for like 1 month where you have your boundaries, you have your schedule, structure, your admin days, your Shiva days, and you are gonna have so much more clarity, energy, you're gonna feel more relaxed, you're gonna really know where your energy is moving. My world would be a hot mess if I didn't have these things in place, and while it takes some discipline, it's so worth the effort to have this weekly ritual, your weekly Shiva ritual, okay? And just even giving it that name can shift the energy towards like how you are showing up for yourself rather than doing tasks that you hate and are boring. This truly is like the small step that will change the trajectory of how your energy is flowing. And make sure that when you are in your life outside of these really Shiva focused admin days, you have more energy and focus to be present in what you're doing, and you're not being pulled in a million different directions, wondering about what's going on with your schedule and like correspondence and like your money and like when are you getting paid, blah, like streamline that shit, make it smooth, make it clear, set boundaries around it so that when you are in that space, you are in it fully locked in, and then you can be more locked in with your life outside of that. If you found this helpful, let me know. Share it with another dancer who needs to get their ducks in a grounded Shiva row, okay? Send this to them too. Thanks for watching. Mwah!